Hi QTs, Sinski4 here, and this video is going to be a project breakdown, namely Galactic Center, which is one of my latest tracks. I'm not going to play the whole thing now, so there's a link in the description where you can find the track itself. Please listen to it first if you haven't already. I'll wait. Are you back? Okay. So I think we should start with the percussion part as always, because like this is the simplest part of the project, I think. The kick is basically made of two layers, as you can see, one of which is just a simple Zenith Subfix preset, which is just a sine wave with some pitch envelope. This is what makes the low end of the kick. There's nothing fancy here, and the other one is this. This is basically a pre-baked sample that I made from probably one of the stock LMMS samples. I can't recall exactly which one, but this is what makes like the transient part. And as you can see, there is this peak controller on this one. This is what controls the sidechain bus here in the mixer, which is needed because like LMMS still doesn't support proper sidechaining, so we still need to use hacks like this, but it's not that bad actually. And this one goes to the kick bus, although the other one doesn't, but who cares. And yeah, this is the EQ here that cuts off the low end of the high part. And then we also have this one, which is like this little filler thing, which comes at places like this. Somewhere here. This is actually the same sample as this one, it's just in reverse. So yeah, this is basically the kick. The next thing here is the clap, which is, it's actually a stock sample from LMMS, namely clap04.org. With some envelope enabled, with some EQ to cut off the very high stuff. Then there is some compression to make it like, yeah, basically compressed. And finally some reverb to make it reverb. I could try to explain why I put these effects on the instruments, but like the best way to explain is just to show you what they do. And there is also the second clap track, which is just a play on the pattern it plays. This is actually playing in this funny part here, somewhere like here. And also here. What? I didn't even remember this was here. Actually, this clap version in this part. Okay. So now we know that. Okay, and the clap also goes to the clap channel here, which is basically just to set the volume actually, because like I can't set the level anymore with this knob, because like that's before the compression. So after that I can only use this one here. So this is why, otherwise there is no effects here. Actually most of these tracks are for this reason. Like most of them don't have any effects, as you can see. Okay, one of them does. I'm gonna talk about that when we get there. Okay, so this is the clap. Let's move on to the hi-hats. First we have a classic 909 hi-hat, open hi-hat. Yeah, very basic stuff with some compression, with some equalization to remove some resonant frequencies from here. I don't know if they are in the original 909 as well, or is it just the LMMS sample thing, but yeah, as you can see, there is some stuff here that needed to be removed. And also the low end, because like we don't need the low end in the hi-hat, that's why you call it a hi-hat, because it's high. And then we have a bit crush, which is actually for this effect at the actually, where is it? It's actually never used, I think. What the heck? I'm not sure why this is here. If you listen to the track, please, if you notice where this hi-hat sample gets bit crushed, please tell me in the comments, because I can't remember. So yeah, anyway, this is the hi-hat. And this goes to this bus, and yeah, as I said, most of these are just volume controls for instruments with the compression applied on them. And then we have the closed hi-hat, which actually also has some pattern in the open hi-hat sample. It's just shorter, so it sounds like a closed hi-hat, but it's actually the same sample. As you can see, this is the pattern it plays. The velocities are a bit messed up. I mean, they are being messed with to get a bit of life in there. And then the actual closed hi-hat sample, which has some play on the velocities and also the panning, as you can see and hear as well. This is also a stock LMMS sample, as you can see from the file name already, I guess. First there is this, I mean not the first, but this is the stereo echo. Without it, it sounds like... I can't hear a difference actually, but yeah, it's probably there. And this here, the dispersion effect, this is a relatively new effect. This is a native LMMS effect actually. What it does is it's basically almost like a low-pass filter with some ridiculous amount of phase shift. It basically delays the low frequencies more than high frequencies, so it's... maybe if I do some extreme settings here... yeah. I think you get the idea, basically. The reason I put this here is basically like heck effects and sound design and stuff. And this actually goes to the master channel and also partially to the side chain with the send feature, which is like the routing feature in LMMS. I basically adjust the ratio of the send to, I mean the ratio of sending the signal to these two channels. That sentence was nice. And this is basically the percussion, the main percussion part. Of course, we also have some more percussion effects stuff outside the beat bassline, I mean the pattern system, one of which is the snare roll. Very basic stuff, basically. One stock sample from LMMS with some EQ and compression, and volume automation. There is no volume automation on this one section here. I wonder if that was an artistic decision or I just forgot to copy paste it. Yeah, and also what happened to this sample here. Anyway, so yeah, the next thing then, this very complicated stuff, the field stuff, which happens in the first two bars of the track. What the hell? Now we are talking, okay. So, the first thing here is this, I don't know what this is called, but yeah, this. This is just a stock sample from LMMS again, because like what else would I use? And basically there is some C plate reverb on here to make it like a long boy. And there is also an EQ to cut off the high-end stuff from it, because like the purpose of this sound is to make you feel the bass. Feel it in your body. Excuse me. So yeah. Bass. Then. Crash. This is just a crash. Stock sample again, of course. But it's also made a long boy. And it has the plate reverb disabled here. What the hell? Was it disabled in the final track? Please leave a comment if it was, or if it wasn't. I don't feel like listening to my own tracks, sorry. There is basically, this is the raw sample, feedback delay line, compression, equalization, and plate reverb, which is, I don't know if it was enabled or not, but anyway, let's move on. We also have this crash reverse, which is the same thing but in reverse, and this actually has a plate reverb. So I suppose this is supposed to be on as well, although again I'm not sure. And then finally we have this noise effect, which is a pretty funny stuff. What the hell? Why is this long boy? There is so much effects it doesn't fit on the screen. But why is the... Anyway, so this is triple oscillator, as you can see. Yes, I still used some stock plugins, namely Zenith sub effects, of course, but also a triple oscillator for noise and nothing else, literally just for noise, because all the other options are just broken. So, without effects, it sounds like this. So it's just basically noise and volume envelope and filter cutoff frequency envelope as well. Basically bandpass filtering. And then we have a flanger to make it like futuristic and trancey stuff. And then the bit crash, which doesn't work yet, but I will talk about that in a moment. Then Zin distortion. What? What the hell? Yeah, distortion, I don't know. White noise, distortion on a white noise, why not? C plate reverb, of course. Also dispersion, which doesn't seem to work, but anyway, it's there. And finally an EQ to cut off the low end and cut out this resonance frequency, which is actually filled with a lot of the, like most of the hi-hats are peaking around here, so I just cut it off from here to make it not clash that much. And basically, and this is where the big crush comes in, because as you can hear here, very similar sounding words with very different meanings. So as you can hear here, without the automation, this is basically what it plays. What the hell? Yeah, just hacking LMMS a bit. And this is the... There is panning. Even though the distortion, Zing distortion makes it pretty close, actually. And then there is the bit crush automation, actually the sample rate, which makes this effect sound almost like a low pass filter, but it's actually bit crush. So yeah, this is how this effect works here. Okay, let's move on to the bass. The bass. This is LB302, in case you haven't already figured this out from the icon of the instrument track. This is the setting if you are interested, and effects. First we have a gate, and this is for working around an issue in LB302, which is this. As you can hear, there isn't any attack on the amplitude envelope, so it makes a click at the beginning of every note. So I just use a gate to make it, artificially make it an attack time. And as you can see, as you can hear, it fixes the click. Yeah, and also an EQ to remove some of the boxy stuff. I hope Lost Robot is not watching the boxy stuff from here. And yeah, that's basically the bass. There is nothing on the bass. Okay, and we are basically done with like this intro part of the track. And yeah, also as you can see, there is this purple stuff at the start of every automation. And yeah, also as you can see, there is this purple stuff. This is to reset set the initial value for every automation, because like LMMS still doesn't do it automatically. So until the first automation clip, you can be sure where those values are. So this is to make sure, actually. Okay, the next track here is the bells, which actually come in at the end of the beginning part. I mean, like here, the intro. Here. This is, I think, this was in a sub-effects preset. I didn't make this one, although I did some adjustments. Let's actually check. How do I check yeah, one of the stock samples, but I made some changes to it. It's an FM bell basically, which is actually PM, but FM bell, and yeah, no effect. I mean, yeah, there is an effect here, which is a reverb, which makes the reverb. There is also an EQ too. What the hell? Yeah, I mean mixing or something, I don't know, I use LMMS. Nothing interesting about this one, I think. Then we have the plug. The first thing I actually did from scratch in this project. Or did I? I hope, yeah. This is the thing. Classic 90s trance stuff. This is basically a sawtooth wave. Actually, 100 sawtooth waves, but who cares? Unison in the sub-effects is like God, the best in the world, with some envelope to make it actually sound like a plug. So it's like nothing fancy here really, it's just the classic stuff we usually do in trance. We have EQ to cut out the lows and some of the hacking stuff here, and echo delay line, of course synced to the BPM. Actually it's not, but it's like synced to, is it like 2/3 or something like that? I don't know how it's called, but you can hear it. And yeah, this is the pattern it plays. What the hell, actually? This is a bit like broken. Why is it full like 16th here, and why is it just 32? I know that's not proper English, but what? Why is it broken like? And it's actually broken all the way to the end. No, it's actually 16th is all the way from the start to the end. But here, that's interesting. Anyway, you can't really hear the difference actually, so who cares? I can't. And there is also a few different versions of this. This is the intro part, where it's like all the same scale, but like in the main drop, not drop, the main, I think. Yeah, the main part here is this one. Very comfy. And there is also the playful version here, somewhere around. Yeah, is the broken beat part. And we have some filter cutoff automation here. And what the hell is this? So this automation clip is for this track, but there is nothing here. What the hell am I automating? Interesting stuff here. Maybe I wanted to put some pattern here as well, but I didn't. I don't know. Actually, the only part it actually does something is the outro at the end here, like it in the fade out like stuff. So yeah, okay, then pad or strings if you prefer. This is this one, or more like this one. And this is actually, I think, this is also absinthe. Yes, with the unison of 50 voices, of course, because like why would I use any less than that? And the power waveform, and actually two of them, and some amplitude envelope and filtering, nice long release to make it a pad, and some compression, equalization and reverb, the usual stuff. I'm not going to talk about these for every instrument because like the purpose is the same for all of them. What the heck? What is this EQ curve? Noise. Okay. And the pad is actually, it basically plays the chords, but as you can see there is a lot of variations. First we have this part in the intro. This is the so-called the waiting part, where we are waiting for something to start actually. And then the filter frequency is automated all the way from here to here with some bigger jump at the middle to make us wait even more. And then in the breakdown we are starting to have more and more of the pad. And this is actually the main chord progression. And basically, yeah. And now it's time to move on to the lead sounds. The first of which is the sawtooth lead. Now this is a tricky one actually, because it sounds like it has some echo delay line. Right? Does it sound like that? But it actually doesn't. There is no echo here. There is nothing on this one either, and there is also no echo in the Zenith sub effects, only a reverb, but that's not an echo. And at the intro part, as you can see, it's a fake echo actually. This is to make it not clash with itself, to make sure it only plays one note at a time. Because like if I used an actual real echo effect, then for example this sound would have some echo, but there is also echo from this one, and this will just do phase cancellation and all that kinds of nasty stuff. So instead I do some hacking like this. And there is equalization on here to cut off the lows, and also some of the nasty resonances that would clash with other instruments in the track, you know, mixing stuff. And the reverb, of course, because reverb was everywhere. And actually the main melody part, the full thing is this. And again, there is still no echo effect on the effects chain. sorry for the extras, my machine can't really keep up with the LMMS and OBS at the same time. Oh, and also the pitch bending is also a bit tricky. As you can see, the first 3 notes don't touch, so they are separate notes. But the rest here they are actually overlapping, which enables the portamento in Zenith sub effects. I can show you if I turn it up a bit. So this is how it works basically. And there is also the same instrument playing some entirely different thing further in, namely this one. And as you can hear, there is also some funny thing happening here. So as you can hear, there is this glitchy stuff happening in this part, which is caused by these guys here, this very little stuff. You know, just to make it a bit more interesting and funny, broken like a bit. And also at the end of this part there is also this meow, which has like panning automation and also pitch bending automation as well. One might call this a Doppler effect or something along those lines. And then we have this coil here, which is basically just some background thing. This is actually sub-synth. As you can see, this is the settings. I believe this was also a preset. I just modified it quite a bit. Yeah, equalization, some stereo tools to make it a bit Does it actually do anything? Wait. It just makes it a bit louder. I don't know, but anyway. So yeah, this is relatively simple stuff. Then we have this what does it mean? BD plug key. Breakdown plugs, which isn't actually a plug, but anyway. This is also Zenith sub effects at synth super so with very many voices in unison. The generic trance stuff, some stereo echo, plate reverb and equalization, filter frequency automation as well, which happens around here. Yeah, it's probably called a plug because like it has a filter frequency envelope. And as you can hear, there is something going on with the stereo effect on this one. If I turn off every effects, this is quite a simple stuff without any processing. What makes it interesting is as you can see, if it's panned to the left a bit, and the stereo echo is what actually delays it and puts it on the right channel as well. it delays by a quarter, I think. No, it's an eighth. No, it's actually an eighth. And yeah, reverb and EQ, the usual stuff. Okay, now let's see something actually interesting, maybe, probably, I guess. This is called the space, and this is basically... Let me turn off every effect first. And as you can see already, there is something funny happening here. And what the hell is this? Basically, there is an LFO controller which is a square wave, and this controls the bass note here. This is the actual MIDI pattern it plays. There is also panning, but like note panning, but it doesn't work with the net sub effects because it's not in the MIDI specs, so it doesn't work. But I don't know why it's messed up like this. Let's just ignore this. And actually this square wave controller is what controls the octaves of this instrument actually, and it's quite off sync with the beat, so it makes quite a nice random stuff. And then feedback delay line. And as you can see, there is some stereo magic happening here as well. It's basically just the delay time is a bit different on the two channels. This is what makes it a bit stereo-ish. And then, of course, EQ. This basically just cuts off the low end here, some curve distortion here, and then compression at the end. And yeah, this is basically this instrument, and as you can see, there is some nice filter automation here. So yeah, this would be it. And there are two more tracks left. We have this lead small, which is, yeah, it's basically the intro to the actual main melody part here. It has some pitch, filter automation. It's not very, like, it's not very much, but it's there. It's actually just a simple super saw pluck, equalization, stereo echo, flanger, of course, and compression. And without the stereo echo, it sounds like this. So it sounds like it's missing some notes or something like that. That's because it's the job of the echo effect to fill in the gaps. And finally the main comfy melody, which is the main, like the peak point of the track. It's also basically just a super saw stuff, nothing fancy with the instrument itself. What makes it interesting is the Yeah, basically the same echo trick as the other one. It's just not append that much because like the previous delete small is also playing in the background here. So this is here just to make it, give it a bit more lower body as well. And as you can see, there is a reverb bus only for this one track. And that's because the reverb is actually equalized. So the reverb only gets the high frequencies. So like there is a reverb bus, which is this one is sending to. And what gives it the actual confidence actually is this thing right here, and this and this. I think you already see what's going on actually. So it's not actually a slow attack on the beginning of the note, it's actually just on other note here with the lower velocity. If I remove this, see what I did there. So this is why it's so-called comfy. Okay. And yeah, basically that's it. This was the breakdown of Galactic Center. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you learned something. And yeah. See you next time. Bye.